Hi guys, OB Keeng here once again. As many of you already know, Russia has begun the invasion of Ukraine. And first of all, my heart goes out to the Ukrainian people. I can't imagine what they must be feeling right now, especially the Nigerians, because a lot of Nigerian students always go to Ukraine for learning and we excel there. You always have the first class, the best doctors in school and all that. The fear levels must be through the roof. Ukrainian president has said that the citizens are allowed to carry guns to defend themselves. The Nigerian embassy in Russia is telling Nigerians to keep calm and protect themselves. I don't even know what that means. Obviously, today's topic is going to be the Russia-Ukraine conflict and how it affects you. OB Keeng to ease no eye, coming out with the music to ease your mind. Man, it must really be terrible to be a kid growing up in this perilous time. We still have a COVID pandemic going on. And next thing, we're talking about World War III, a potential World War III. That's terrible on all counts, and it just makes me appreciate my childhood more. I really hope all of this glosses over. Nigerians are already feeling disconnected from the conflict. Some people say, thank God Africa is safe, that we're not involved in the conflict and all that. Unfortunately, this conflict should concern you because right now we're living in a global world. Like, it's no longer that we are different communities, different states, minding our own business. Now we're all connected, especially through the internet. Economically, we're all connected. It's a global village. I mean, that's what we're expecting with the jet age and the technology age. So anything affecting any part of the world will have a ripple effect that affects us all. How this affects us in particular is, well, first of all, stock markets and crypto markets, they've already started to crash because usually when there are panics like this, people want their money to be more liquid. So they start to withdraw and all that. There's little trust in how stable the system will be. For us here in Nigeria, I guess the first thing that will affect us will probably be gas prices. I'm going to get a little bit more into the conflict so that I can explain this from what I understand. I've been reading a whole lot on the topic. Russia and Germany, they just concluded a pipeline running from Russia to Germany, which Russia was expected to like double the gas output they send to Germany. I think Russia supplies 32% of Europe's natural gas, which is a whole lot. And Russia and Germany had an agreement to create this new pipeline called the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And this pipeline was going to double the amount of gas that Russia was going to send to Germany. And it was just concluded last year, so it was about to go into operation, and it will probably have reduced gas prices a bit. But because of this conflict, Germany has to take a side and Europe has to take a side as well. Basically, they can't be seen to be supporting Putin in this his invasion attempt, no matter what the reason is. And it's not like there are good reasons anyway. Germany has decided to cut ties. Basically, they've halted the whole pipeline deal with the support of other European countries, the US and all that. From basic economics, we know that high demand, low supply will lead to an increase in price. As it stands now, Russia could decide to lower the amount of gas that they are even sending to Europe anyway. For now, they said they are not going to do that, but you know, Russia, you never know what they have up their sleeve. I mean, this whole invasion was even very surprising for a lot of people. They control their information a lot and very well. Even if it's just a perceived shortage, it's going to affect gas prices all over the world. So even here in Africa, where we import our natural gas, we should expect the prices of gas and maybe even some other energy products to rise. The US has already accepted that price in energy is going to go up, and they're already blaming it on Putin. That is what I guess we should all be kind of prepared for. Also, regarding this whole World War III thing where everybody is pensive about. There's a reason for that, because even as we know from history, world wars are sparked from like a conflict in one region. And what happens is countries begin to take sides. And when countries begin to take sides, the conflict starts to spread like a ripple effect. Say, for example, we stand with Ukraine, a neighboring country stands with Russia, and then all these lines of conflict start to increase. All of a sudden, you know that fighting has started everywhere, and it's not just Russia, Ukraine again. For now, no other country has come to side with Putin and Russia. All we've seen is condemnation of the attacks and so on and so forth. They should be condemned. Hopefully, it does not escalate more than that. I mean, these are countries that have been storing and improving their nuclear weapon technology over the years. I heard this thing about second supply weapons, where even if you bomb a country with a nuclear weapon, they have something in place to send a reprisal weapon, so everywhere just explodes. I don't think I'm capturing it very well, but basically, war bad, nuclear war worse. So now that I've talked about the implications, let me go into the reasons for this conflict, because there is a lot of confusion going around the social media space. For those that don't really know what's going on, that don't even want to follow politics, or might feel you guys, it's very annoying. They might not even be interested, but now that they hear things of war, they want to be like, what's going on? I mean, you want to know. Okay, it's not that simple to explain, but I'll try my best. People keep asking, why is Russia invading Ukraine? And Putin, which is Russia's president for now, why is he invading Ukraine? The answer is simple: because he can and he wants to. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have his reasons. Of course, he has his reasons, but he wants to basically. Putin is alleging that Ukraine wants to join NATO. NATO is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO is like a consortium of countries, European countries, that had a pact to join together after World War II, and try and protect the world's interests, their interests, prevent such an occurrence from happening again. Russia and Ukraine, they used to be together at some point, but they broke up. They're quite close to each other. So Putin says that if Ukraine joins NATO, he puts them at a dicey position, because if other NATO countries decide to send troops to Ukraine, they will be more vulnerable to attacks. And Putin is saying they can't have that. That's one reason he gave. A second reason he gave was that Ukrainians are treating Russians terribly. They are committing a genocide against Russians. I have no idea how true that is, and compare them to Nazis. The same Putin and same Russia are putting out messages that the area of Ukraine that they are coming to take over, that it's an independent area. Basically, the areas have been ravaged by insurgency. And funny enough, these insurgents, some of them are supported by Russia, like are funded by Russia. So basically, Russia infused conflict into that region. They are now using the guise of, oh, I'm coming to make peace, to take over that region of Ukraine. This is eastern Ukraine. I think it's the Dobras region we're talking about now. I could be wrong about that. That's why I said basically Putin just wants to take over that section of Ukraine. And over time, he might decide to even expand his territory. There are some people that believe that he wants to take over Ukraine as a whole. If you can take half of the cake, why not take all of it? So obviously, other European countries are not happy with this. They don't want Putin taking over Ukraine. First of all, they don't want him amassing more power, which is understandable. Second of all, Ukraine is an independent country that allies with Europe. They feel obligated to protect Ukraine. The problem now is if allied countries start sending troops to Ukraine, or want to defend Ukraine as of now, that's when all the issue of world war can now officially begin to start. Me, I just hope it doesn't devolve to that. Me, my concern is people, the citizens. Ukrainian citizens are already scared. Some are trying to evacuate. They don't know what to do. Ukrainian president said they can get guns now. Like, imagine when the president said, okay, you can go and get guns, no problem. You can, no need to do background check. But even them, that's not their issue right now. Telling them that they can go and get guns to protect themselves against the Russians. These are people that they don't have military training. They are normal people that, go to work, find food, eat, watch TV. I don't even think they'll be excited by that concept of they can go and get guns and defend themselves. So that's really terrible. I guess I've tackled the reasons for the conflict in a nutshell. What I'm going to discuss now, I think it's kind of a message to Nigerians, because I'm seeing a lot of messages on social media of some Nigerians supporting Putin. I don't know if I want to use it, I want to say most, but Nigerians are supporting Putin. They think he's in the right, and I think this stems from like our underdog syndrome. We have a tendency to support those that are underdogs, as that everybody is coming against. We want to support them, especially if we feel they are strong. And this is not a movie. This is not a joke. First of all, I don't see how Putin is even an underdog in this situation. He has all the cards basically. I mean, he can cut off the gas supply to Europe, and gas prices will skyrocket. I mean, they are already increasing anyway. Even oil prices are increasing, energy prices are increasing. Ukraine is the only underdog here. Putin is going to invade Ukraine. I don't see why you would be in support of that. Me personally, I'm against authoritarian governments of all kinds. I don't care how strong or well-meaning you are or you think you are. Power corrupts. If Putin ends up conquering Ukraine, he's going to want to conquer more places. That's just how it works. Authoritarian governments, they stifle the rights of the people. That has been shown through history and is still being shown now. With an authoritarian government, you can't get YouTube. I can't be talking to you like this. So I don't know why I will be in support of such a thing. Authoritarian, socialist, communist governments, I don't want any of that. On paper, like in theory, they sound good. I mean, it's like, hey, workers of the world unite. Communism talks about from each according to ability to each according to his need. So it's kind of like an egalitarian thing where you help those that cannot help themselves. But at the end of the day, devolving powers to the state, that's where the problem comes from. But the ordinary citizen no longer has rights. When you say the state is a concept. So when you devolve those powers, it's a small group of people that ends up capturing power, and they tend to misuse it. We've seen it throughout history. So I don't know where supporting authoritarian governments again will get you, but okay, let's see how this world war goes. I never thought I would see a war in my lifetime, so I hope I don't. Russia is not necessarily a socialist government, but they have socialist tendencies. They are running a democracy, but the thing is authoritarian now because Putin is kind of making it his own. Normally in a democracy, after 4-8 years, somebody else has to take over, you leave. But in Russia, Putin kind of instituted laws that made it possible for him to run again and again, so he can be president till 2036 if he continues to run and win. But the people of Russia, the majority of them actually support Putin because Putin's track record is good. like he improved the economy and all. Actually, this wasn't going to be my topic of discussion today. I had something else planned, but the urgency of this matter just made me decide to speak out. I felt I needed to speak out. As time goes on, we will explore the effects of this conflict on ourselves, our livelihoods. It's a very strange time. I mean, we're still talking about COVID, then war is coming up. I have some takes on this issue that could get me in trouble because America has been drumming it. Russia wants to go to war, Russia wants to go to war. The American government right now, they've failed on so many levels. I'm talking about the current administration. A war now is like a chance for them to reset and start over. I think Biden has handled it well so far. Many people are saying he's weak. That's why Putin had the mind to make this move. He has started imposing sanctions on Russia. So that's basically it's the whole story in a nutshell. I've tried to explain it as best I can. Is there anything I missed out? Is there anything you still want me to talk about with this conflict? You can tell me in the comments below. I always read the comments. I'll have a look at it and I'll consider discussing it. How do you think this conflict is going to affect the world? Do you have any reservations about what Putin is doing? Do you support Putin? Do you think this will lead to a full-scale war, or it's just an isolated incident? Do you think this was planned? Could be a conspiracy to make everybody forget the pandemic. There's that. Whatever your concerns, tell me in the comments. Once again, my name is OB Keeng. Like and subscribe if you don't want a war. There's a whole lot of content on my channel you can explore. I speak on social issues and I'm a musician and novelist. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one very soon.